Or you'll find Core Present in the marketing section here. And if you click on this last one, Core Present, that will bring you into the tool. And there's a lot of cool stuff in here. I mean, they even just updated all the presentations, and I think it just looks a lot better than it did the last time I talked about this tool. So there's a couple different things in here. The main thing is the presentation for sellers, where you can create a CMA, create a nice listing presentation into all one big thing. And with all of these presentations, you can either email them to your clients or you can print it out and take it to them in person, or even present it from your computer, however you want to do it. Once you save your presentations, you can always look back at them or make updates to them as well. So everything that you create will save down here below. And I'm going to go in to create a seller's presentation. And we'll just kind of go through all the stuff in here. So the first step is to create the CMA. So start with the address. Normally it pops up. Okay. Once you select that, you can just kind of confirm the data that it pulls from the tax records. And then now once you kind of use this tool, you'll have an idea of how the computer grabs all the comps automatically. So you can, if you're just quickly doing it, you can skip to presentation, but typically you're going to want to click next for the comparable details. In areas like Fort Wayne, it's probably fine, but like if I were to type in my address in rural Columbia City, like I have to kind of change the settings to even get any comps. So there are options to do that. But right off the bat, you'll see down here at the bottom, there's 6 total matches for comps. And then it shows there's 2 that are pending and then 4 that were sold. So all around here, all of these little location icons are potential comps, the ones that are gray, and the solid color ones are the ones that it did grab for comparables here. So you can actually click on these. It'll show you some at-glance information. If it's larger or smaller, it'll show that percentage. You can, of course, remove it, or you can click on more info and it'll bring up all the information on that house, the pictures, all that good stuff. And this will be included in let's see, let me move this thing down here. Yeah, this will be included in your presentation too, which is really nice. So you can kind of click through all these items and see what's in here. You can add, excuse me, so like this one that's actually in the neighborhood, you know, if you want to add that to the comps, it's 21% smaller, but with it being in the neighborhood, that might make sense to click add to. Of course, you can click on more info to kind of see what's up with that. And then if you need to, like if it's in a rural area or something, you can change your radius here. You can change like single family, number of beds, the square footage, the year built, and then when it was sold, which could be helpful too to find more comps depending on the area that you're in. So you can change that stuff up here at the top or on the side. And then if you know of specific MLS numbers that would make sense to manually add, that for whatever reason might not be showing up here on the map, you can also individually add the MLS IDs down here in this section too. So you can also just manually add everything, but I think the computer does a pretty good job of initially finding everything for you. And then again, you know, all the gray ones are potential ones, and then the solid ones are the ones that the computer automatically matches with. So then again, at this point, you can click next to further build the CMA, or again, you can skip to the presentation. So if we click next, this is gonna bring us in to maybe, there we go. When you email your clients this information, this is pretty much the page that they will see. But this is an editable version for you. And I'm not the biggest fan of how this is kind of laid out horizontally. When you print this presentation out, it lists everything vertically and has all the information. Like these are interactive, so I guess it makes sense because you can click around and pull up more information. But I just like it how it's formatted. When you print it out, you can see everything kind of with all these details. But otherwise, this works really well for, you know, sellers that maybe you just got a seller lead and you want to email this to them, kind of get their attention. This is nice because they can just kind of click through here. So they can see the specific homes in here. They can see the average pending, average close. And then you can enter your own price and either an exact price up here in this field or put a range of whatever you think. So then once you get that added, you can just click that and it will add on wherever it ends up in this range of pricing. And then there's a market assessment area that's also interactive. So you can see some at-glance information and then click on it to kind of get more of what all these different categories are talking about, what it's comparing it to. So average monthly price, fresh versus stale. I guess this is not available for this one. I wish they would just take those out. I'll have to suggest that. So the selling pace here, there's all these different categories that you guys understand a lot more than I do. Price per square footage. This just kind of explains all the different items in here for their property and the surrounding property. So we have these two that I guess the data does not apply. But everything else you can click through. Now, for the actual presentation part, you can take those items out. This would just be if you were to email the client, they would see this, or you can just send them the presentation, which I'll show you here in a bit. So at this point, you can just save only the CMA and just get like the property details, all the stuff that you entered in, and save that as a PDF to print or email. Or you can go and create a whole listing presentation. So I'm going to click create presentation and show you all this stuff in here. So the nice thing that I really like about these presentations is that you can choose your emphasis, theme, and mode. And so the emphasis is going to be kind of the tone of the presentation. So the default order is just goes from why am I the right fit? What's your home worth? The market analysis, marketing and buyer activity, and then the next steps. But you can change the order based on what the seller wants or needs. So the contingent mode is, or the contingent emphasis is for people who are ready to sell right now. They just want to make sure that their home is priced right and that you're going to get the job done. So, you know, they don't necessarily need convincing about selling their home. They just want to know that you're the right person to do it. The I'm shopping you emphasis is more focused on kind of, you know, similar to the contingent one, but they're just ready to find the right person and the right agent. So this is more selling you as an agent. And then the last one, make me list, is people who might just be curious about learning their home value. They want to sell if it's the right price. So this has more of an emphasis on like the pricing of the home and the value and everything. So that's a nice little option there. I'm gonna go back to the default one. And then you can choose themes. So there's a couple different, just traditional, modern, just has a couple different looks to it. The luxury one is nice too. All three of them look great. And then the presentation, you can just choose to have a full listing presentation, just a CMA, or a single page review, which you can just choose like one page sheets to print out individually. But the default is to have a whole presentation, so I'll just kind of flip through here and show you some other stuff. You can upload an image of the house. So you can click image and just select a file if you have an image, maybe grab one from Google Street View if it's a good enough quality. And then this starts out by explaining just RE/MAX as a brand, and you can always take things out, clicking these little X's. You can see all the slides here on the left. So you can get rid of things, you can add things. But this is all the default slides in here, just talking about the most trusted name. Nobody in the world sells more than RE/MAX. More buyers and sellers think of RE/MAX than any other brand worldwide. So that's up to you if you want to have this stuff in here, if that seems relevant. Probably depends on the seller. So again, you can click these X's to remove stuff. And then if you want to add slides, I'll show you all the way down here at the bottom of each section, there's an add slide button. And so this brings up even more options. So you can choose your section up here where you want to add the slides to. And then you can kind of narrow them down by clicking, okay, I just want everything that's in a seller's guide, and click things to add them in there. But I'll continue to kind of go through this. So marketing your home, talking about RE/MAX being the #1 franchisor site, little snapshot of numbers, and then something explaining CMN, which is nice if you utilize that. And then the next section does go into what is my home worth. So it'll show just at a map view glance here of all the homes that you're comparing. And then on the next page, it's going to show that same view. Now, like I was saying, if you print this out as a PDF, it's going to list all the properties individually. So right now I'm viewing the web version. If you were to email this, or if you were to just pull this up on your computer and put it on a big screen for a presentation, but you can switch over here in the top corner to PDF. And in this presentation view, it doesn't show the individual property, or yes, it does. Here we go. It used to not show this until you actually went to print it out. So it has all the comps here listed with the addresses, basic info, and then it lists all the property info individually as well. So that's a nice view for the PDF when you print it out. And then next, same, this is all interactive. Otherwise, the PDF will explain all of these the same way when you click on this. And then market analysis. So this is a nice little slide just explaining the factors that influence pricing, buyer demand, showing the buyer demand in the area by a map view. Buyer interest. This is kind of a cool thing. It takes all the data from RE/MAX.com and shows like the number of people engaging with RE/MAX results in that area, online engagement near the address, specifically online engagements, 17, and then so a total featured buyers around the area would be 61. So that's kind of a cool slide. Of course, again, in this same area, you can add slides pertaining to that specific marketing and buyer activity. You can add your marketing plan. You can talk about Property Boost or Core Social if you use those tools, which I'll be doing a training on Core Social coming up here in a couple weeks too. All right, and then it ends with this last slide. So again, if you were to email this to them, they could either click let's get started or I need more time and info, and that will show you in the analytics of this what they clicked. And then again, if you want to print everything out, you'll just click on PDF. And then when you go to present and share up here in the top right, this will allow you to either print it, to email it, you can assign it to a client and send it through KV Core. You can actually even add a listing agreement link for them to sign the listing agreement, add a net sheet. You can add a video link if you want to send a video, if you are sending this through email. Just kind of send a video explaining everything, make it a little more personable. And then sometimes this takes a little while to render, but you can click download and print once that's ready. And then once you do that, it is saved in your Core Present profile. So you can always come back to this if you need to and update it. You know, you could go through and send this to all your people who have owned their home for 5 years or whatever it may be, and just send them all this through email. I think it's a really great tool just to at least understand the value of their home, keep in contact with them. So that is the seller presentation. Now, they've done some really cool stuff for a buyer's presentation, which is relevant nowadays. It didn't used to be, but now it makes sense to have a buyer's presentation in some cases. So there's a couple different things that you can do. So you can win the representation, win your buyer, win them over and get that buyer agency form signed. There's a buyer tour, so you can add a property or multiple properties in here for them to look through all this stuff. Might make sense for a buyer who's out of state or not in the area. And then another one for winning the offer. So all of these, it's kind of the same idea where you are choosing slides. This, you can add their name in here. And then, you know, if they have a spouse name or you want to put another title in here, whatever you want to write in there. And then I would, let's see, there's a default slide, the purpose and importance of a buyer's agent. So it kind of goes through all the different things that you will do for them, but then they have even more slides in here too. So you can add a slide for buyer's agent compensation or the home buying process. So I'll just add those in here. You can see what those look like. And then the next slide is the home buying process. So kind of goes through the steps here. And then the next section is why am I the right fit? So another, more specifically offering your value, not just any buyer's agent's values. And then there's some more slides in here, like you can add some Remax stuff. There's a home buyer's glossary. There's all kinds of stuff in here from a buyer's guide that Remax made that you can add in here. So there's lots and lots of options in here about pre-approval, seller do's and don'ts, home search, all kinds of stuff. And again, you can also click up here to filter by specifically just to show the buyer's stuff. And then add anything that you want. And then it does have that next step slide. So you can keep that for the electronic version for them to click get started, or the PDF version just has all of your contact info. So then again, it would be the same process, present and share, and then you can choose to either email it or download it. And then the buyer tour, this one you just enter MLS ID, which I meant to grab an MLS ID before this and I didn't, so let me grab one. Just for sake of example. Uh-oh. Okay. All right. Let me just grab this one. Okay. So just paste this in here. Now you can add multiple MLS numbers in here if you have multiple properties that you want to show them. So you would just add and just continue to add again. And then enter your client's name. And they should pop up if they're in your contacts. All right, so then you'll save and continue. And then just kind of goes through and shows like the property information like it does with the comps. So you can come in here, see all the details about the property. Now this would make more sense if you had multiple properties to kind of present to them what they all are, but you get the idea there. Now the cool thing about this, if you were to just email this as like a list of properties to see if they're interested, at the end, they can actually click this little slidey guy and say, I'm not interested, I'm considering, or let's make an offer. Now, I would put a fourth option in there of let's schedule a showing, but you know, this could also be after you go and show all the properties to them, you could send them this and you know, they can say whether or not they're interested in putting in an offer, but you know, that's just a little bit of extra work, but some people, it might work for people who are out of state for sure. So again, you can come in here and add more slides, add a whole buyer's guide in here. That might be nice to add for people. And then again, same thing, choose your web, choose PDF, present and share, and then you're good to go. Now, when the offer, this is pretty much, I don't think I need to go into it. It's the same idea of between the sellers and then the buyers presentations where you add a CMA to basically show them like, okay, this property is worth offering this much based on all the comps surrounding it. So you would create a CMA for it and then create a presentation based on whatever slides that you want to add in there. So it's the same idea as everything else. And then you can also create a general presentation too, where you can add in your own slides. This could be for anybody. This could be for recruiting team members. This could be for just, you know, whatever the specific situation is that you're in. They just kind of created a blank slate for you here where you can customize your own stuff and then even upload a contract, all that good stuff. Now, again, just to point out, you do have all of your past presentations in here. You can view analytics once your clients do view that. I don't think I have an example of this because I've never gone in and viewed it as a client. But once, if you email this to them, you can open up the analytics. You can see what page they spent the most time on. You can see what they clicked on, kind of to get an idea of what they're most curious about. So that's really nice. And again, you can pull up the web presentation, PDF presentation from here. You can email it to them from here or just delete it from here too. And then just a couple other things to point out. You do have some custom settings. You can kind of customize your presentations. You can personalize the About Me section. You can add some testimonials in here. So that might be worth checking out if you would like to utilize this. And then the presentation library, you can actually upload your own slides. So if you have your own listing presentation that you've created, you can also add that in here and make it a part of this tool. So you can easily get your CMA and your personal presentation all in one spot. So you just add your slides here. And then you can kind of go back and customize in the custom settings how you want everything to be set up by default. And then I think that is all the features. Let me see here. Okay. Oh, we do have an extra person in here now. Hi, Mike. All right. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and let me know. Oh, I did miss some chats. Okay. Hi, Mike. All right. do you guys have any questions about this tool at all? Or anything that you're wondering if it can do? Hopefully I explained all this stuff okay. I was pretty impressed with all the changes that they made since I talked about this last.
Yeah, it looks like a good, just another good tool that we can use. I haven't, I've just kind of played around with it, a little bit. But yeah, that can put together a nice presentation for us, I think,
Yeah.
for our clients.
Yes, absolutely. Especially with all the buyers changes, this might come in handy with people who, if they're not willing to meet in person with you, you could put together one of these presentations and email it to them. Or same with sellers, I've heard people suggest just going through your database when you have time and sending it to people who've owned their home for a little bit, just
Yeah.
to send something to them for their home value. So yeah, I really love what they've done with it. It looks even better than it did before, so. Yeah. All right, well, I think that's about it. If you guys don't have any other questions, I think my next training, I believe, is going to be on August 9th, and that will be about SEO and kind of driving traffic to your website, just some tips and tricks that you can do for that. So I will talk to you guys in 2 weeks, if not before. And I hope that you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for
Are you
being
too,
here.
Hannah? Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.